cos theta. Okay. Now this can be written as phi equal to b. Semicircle means pi r square by 2 cos omega t. Then you can calculate E equal to minus d phi dt. So when you calculate d phi dt, derivative of cosine will be a minus sign, and there is already one minus in length due to Lenz's law. So this will be plus. So it will be b pi r square by 2. It will be omega sin omega t. Okay. Now at any time instantaneous power P equal to E square by R, where R is the resistance, so we will take in square of this one, so V square pi square R4 omega square sin square omega t divided by 4R. Okay. Then average power. Average power means this one. This will be equal to V square pi square R4 omega square, average value of sin square omega t over a complete cycle, that is half. Average value of sin square omega t over a complete cycle is half. The same calculation comes in case of the RLS current. So it will be 8R. Because whenever you will have the function sin square theta or cos square theta, its average value over complete cycle each equal to half. Because that's why their sum will be 1. The correct option is not given in ABCD. Because that 8 factor is not there. All so you can write that the numerator will match with option B, that is B pi r square omega its square divided by 8r. Next one, you have to calculate the RMS value of E. See, E RMS square equal to integral E square dt by integral dt 0 to t 0 to t. This integral you have to calculate for the RMS value. Here E is that function given E1 sin omega t plus E2 cos omega t. This is the standard rules of calculating the RMS value. Square and calculate. Can anyone tell me, is there any shortcut process to solve this problem? Because this integration will be long integration, 3 terms will be there, and from that you have to calculate. There is a very shortcut way to solve this problem without any integration. See, wherever you find RMS value, what you will do? RMS value of the current or voltage, anything. I naught by root 2, that is maximum value divided by root 2. Here the function is given E1 sin omega t plus E2 sin E2 cos omega t. These are the sum of superposition of two simple harmonic motions. Forget about current and everything. These are the superposition of two simple harmonic motions. Okay. So combination of this will have a amplitude. What is the amplitude of the resulting motion? Root over of the coefficient square is the amplitude of the motion. So amplitude of motion is actually the peak value of the voltage. So what is the RMS value? Peak value by root 2. Root 2 is taken inside. This is the answer. If you can't remember this, then you have to integrate. Whenever two SHM, one is given by sine, another is given by cos, or two sine, combination of two sine, etc. are there. When they will superpose, then their resulting amplitude is calculated by root over of the amplitude square sum, individual amplitude square sum. So from that we can write resultant amplitude will be root over of E1 square plus E2 square, which is equal to the peak value of the voltage. And now any peak value divided by root 2 will be the RMS value. The next one, photoelectric effect supports quantum nature of light because the maximum kinetic energy of photoelectrons depend only on the frequency of light and not on its intensity. Option B. Next one. These are three energy levels: EC, lower level, EB, and further lower level, EA. One transition is here, that is given. C2A is lambda 3. this one is lambda 3, then C2B is lambda 1, and another is B2A is lambda 2. Okay, then we can write EC minus EA, that should be equal to EC minus EB plus EB minus EA. Okay, then EC minus EA, that is written as HC by lambda 3, EC minus EB, that is HC by lambda 1, and this is HC by lambda 2. So HC will cancel, and you can find lambda 3 equal to then lambda 1 lambda 2 by lambda 1 plus lambda 2. Take the LCM, add, and take the reciprocal. For 87, first calculate using plano-convex lens, calculate its focal length. Radius of curvature is given. Second surface R2 is plane, so that is R2 is infinity. So by putting R2 infinity, calculate F for the lens. Value of mu for glass is given 1.5. Then first calculate the value of F for the plano-convex lens, and forget about all the silvering and reflection will occur and all these things. First calculate this one. It is coming 20. Then, if now the plane surface is silvered, the light ray after reflection will come back. So the focal length is just divided by 2. So the answer is 10 centimeter. First, using lens maker's formula, when you calculate, it will be 1 by f equal to 1.5 minus 1 into 1 by r1, that is 1 by 10 minus 1 by infinity. So from that, f is coming 20. Now reflection occurs means light ray is again coming back through that second surface. So the focal length of the combined system will now become just half of the radius. So it will be 20 by 2, that is 10 centimeter. So whenever plano-convex lens plane surface is silvered, the focal length will be just half of the original. Original focal length coming 20, so it will be, since it is reflection, it is again passing through that lens surface. So it will be 10. Then next one. See, after passing through the first crystal, the intensity is given I0. Then again passing through another crystal, at an angle 45 degree, means I naught cos square 45. So the answer is I naught by 2. Next one, either you have to remember this formula in the spherical bowl when it is rotating, otherwise you have to find the formula and then solve. Very long formula. Anyone remember that formula? I forget. I will simply calculate. See, this one is the situation. The object is supposed here. Okay. So this length is equal to the radius. Now what are the forces acting on this object? One is there mg. Another is normal reaction on this side. Okay. Now, since it is rotating, there is a centrifugal force. This centrifugal force is directed along this, and let us consider this is m omega square r because we require the angular speed. Now, this r is not the radius of the sphere. This r is this one. This length is r, because it is rotating in a circle of small r, radius small r. So that radius is taken as small r. Okay. Now, there is other forces. Rotates and now there is also small sphere of radius. Mass will be in equilibrium because it is given no friction. So due to rotation, this force must generate such that it will not slide down. So now we can split n into two components. One component of n is along this direction. Another component of n is along this direction. So I can consider this angle to be theta. And this angle will become theta, so this is n cos theta, this one is n sin theta. So I can write n sin theta equal to m omega square r and n cos theta equal to mg. Then divide these two, you will get tan theta equal to omega square r by g. Okay. Now, see, capital R is given, this one is given, so you can find this one, this one. So now you have to substitute all these variables. The one thing we can do, that I can write in terms of theta, that this small r I can replace. Small r equal to capital R sin theta. Check. This is 90 degree. So small r by capital R is sin theta. So small r equal to capital R sin theta. That I can substitute. Then it will be sin theta by cos theta equal to omega square capital R sin theta by G. Sin theta cancels, then omega square equal to G by R cos theta. R cos theta. G by R cos theta. Now check what is R cos theta. It is R. So this length is R cos theta. And that length we can directly calculate. Because radius is given 0.5 and smaller length, this small part is given 0.2. So R cos theta will be capital R minus small r. So calculate capital R minus small r, that is 0.5 minus 0.2, that is 0.3. So it will be G is given 10, 10 gram radian per second. We have to convert 10 into 10 to the power minus 3 divided by that is 0.3. Then it will be in radian per second. This answer 59. Okay. Then next one, 90. Can you can adjust with this for this problem? Next. This one. 20 power minus 2 by 0.3, 20 power minus 4, 30. अच्छा अच्छा. But if I take simply
This one is coming 10 to the power minus 2 by 0.3. If I multiply 10, numerator and denominator both, so omega square will be 10 to the power minus 1 by 3. Then omega equal to 10 to the power minus 1's root by root 3. How you calculate this one? You multiply it with 10 to the power minus 2. Okay. How you can calculate? 10 to the power minus 2 in the numerator, you multiply. Point 3 is there. Point 3 is 3 by 10. Point 3 by 10. 10 will be in the numerator 100. So this one is coming. Exact matching. None of the option matches. 3 is in the denominator. 3 will be in the denominator. This none of the option matches, no? This one, it is coming 3 into 10 to the power minus 1 by 3. Omega square is coming. So omega equal to root over of 10 to the power minus 1 by root 3. Means root 1 by root 30 is coming.
See, the option that is given in the answer key is not matching. It is coming after calculation 1 by root 30. 1 by root 30 radian per second. It is coming. Next one. See. Suppose this one is a dipole, minus q plus q. This is the center, this is at an arbitrary distance, theta, this one is r. Okay. So at this point we know if electric field is E, then electric field in the polar coordinate is E equal to 2p cos theta by 4 pi epsilon naught r cube r cap plus p sin theta by 4 pi epsilon naught r cube theta cap. Okay. Now these are the two components of the electric field. Now this component is ER component, the E theta component. Okay. Now what is the resultant field E? Sum of these two components. Suppose here This is E. Now let us consider this angle between these two components is alpha. So we can write E theta by ER equal to tan alpha. E theta by ER equal to tan alpha. Now this one is your E theta, this one is your ER. Okay, so I can write tan alpha equal to how much? Just tell me from this. This part is coefficient of theta cap, that is E theta, and this part is coefficient of R cap, that is ER component. So from that you can find tan alpha. So tan alpha will be ER by E theta by ER. So E theta is this one, ER is this one. So it is coming tan alpha equal to half tan theta. Tan alpha equal to half tan theta. Okay. Now theta is mentioned in the problem. Theta is mentioned in the problem, that is pi by 3 with the x-axis. This theta is given pi by 3. So I can find tan alpha. So tan alpha is coming, tan pi by 3 is tan 60, that is root 3. So it will be root 3 by 2. So alpha will be tan inverse of root 3 by 2. Now this is the angle made by the electric field vector with the radius r, because alpha is the angle with E and radius vector. Then you have to find out the angle between electric field and x-axis. That means alpha plus theta is the angle between x-axis and electric field, because this is the direction of the electric field. That angle already we calculated alpha. So what is the electric field's angle with x-axis? It will be alpha plus theta. So that is tan inverse root 3 by 2 plus pi by 3. This one is the answer. Option B. First you have to calculate the direction between angle between E vector with radius, and then radius also makes an angle pi by 3 with the x-axis. So then theta plus that alpha will be the direction of the electric angle of the electric field and x-axis. Okay, you can take a short break. The velocity v of a particle is given in terms of t by the equation v equal to at plus v by t plus c. V equal to at plus v by t plus c. Now first check t and c are added together. So c has the same dimension as that of t. Otherwise you cannot add them. So you can first write the dimension of C will be equal to capital T. And now if you verify that only one option contains capital T, and that is C. So from that you can find the answer, and if you want you can calculate the other dimension for more assurance, and you can calculate that first option A has the dimension of acceleration with 10 to the power minus 2, and obviously then B has the dimension of n. So option C is correct. Then question number 2. In two-dimensional motion, the particle moves from point A to B. Position vector r1 to position vector point B, position vector r2. If the magnitudes of the vectors are given by 3 and 4, and the angles with the x-axis to theta1 and theta2, that is given 75 and 50. Then what is the angle theta? That is theta1 minus theta2. That is 75 minus 50. That is 60 degree. Okay. So we are getting this equation that AB vector, the displacement vector S, that is actually R2 minus R1. So its magnitude will be root over of R2 square plus R1 square minus 2 R1 R2 cos theta. But theta is theta1 minus theta2, that is 60 degree. Then calculate. So R1 is given 3, R2 is 4. 16 plus 9 minus 2 into 4 into 2 into 3 into 4 into cos 60. Cos 60 means sin theta, that is half. So it is 25 minus 12, that is root 30. Okay. Next one is easy. If we shift a body in equilibrium from A to C in a gravitational field via path AC or ABC by a force F, then work done by the force F for both paths will be same, because gravitational force is conservative force. So work done in this field does not depend on the path followed. It only depends on the end points. So work done in both the paths will be same. Next one, choose only the incorrect statement of the following. B is incorrect. The center of mass of a solid is never lies outside the body of the solid. If you have a ring, solid object, but its center of mass is at the midpoint, that is center of the circle, but there is no mass. Next one, correct option is not there. First one, moment of inertia of the square plate ABCD uniform thickness about an axis passing through the center O. The perpendicular to the plane of the paper is not equal to. See, is not equal to. It is equal to I1 plus I2 because of the perpendicular axis theorem. It is equal to I3 plus I4 because of the perpendicular axis theorem. It cannot be equal to I1 plus I2 plus I3 plus I4. That is true. But option C, I1 plus I3. It cannot be equal to I1 plus I3 either. It also. The two options are incorrect. Option C is also there. Correct option is given D, I think. No? But C is also incorrect because C you cannot find by perpendicular axis theorem. C will not come. C and D both are incorrect. 51. Water is flowing in streamline motion in the tube as shown in the figure. The pressure in the tube is more at A than at B, because since the area of cross section of the point B is less, so the velocity of the water is more at that point because of the equation of continuity. And high pressure means, now we apply Bernoulli's theorem. Kinetic energy more means pressure energy will decrease. More because sum of the total energy will remain constant. Energy density will remain constant. So if kinetic energy increases, because potential energy is same because it is at the same horizontal level. So kinetic energy and pressure energy, two energies are there. So kinetic energy increases at B, so pressure energy decreases at B. So A has more pressure than B. So option A is correct. Next one, 52. A partition divides the container having insulated walls into two compartments, 1 and 2. The same gas fills the two compartments. The ratio of the number of the molecules in the compartment 1 and 2. Simply use this for PV equal to N R N1 RT for the first case. For the second case, I will write P. In place of P, it will be 2B. D will be 2B equal to N2 R, and it will be N3. So now take the ratio. So it will be 1 by 4 equal to N1 by N2. So option D is correct. Okay. Next one. It is the graph of Charles' law, and you know that from equation PV equal to nRT, if you go, then V equal to nRT by P. So V versus T graph is a straight line whose slope contains M. So slope proportional to 1 by P. That means inversely related to P. So slope increases means pressure is decreasing. So higher slope is for P2, so pressure for P2 is smaller, pressure for P1 is larger. So option A is correct. Slope of the graph in this equation is nR by P, so slope is inversely proportional to P. So as slope increases, pressure will decrease. Next one. A transverse wave is traveling along a string from left to right. The figure below represents the shape of the string at a given instant. At this instant, among the following, choose the wrong statement. Point DEF have upward positive velocity. Acha, it is the direction, it is the graph between x and y, not x and t. Okay. What is the slope of the wave car? How it is related to the velocity? Because we know that velocity of the particle by velocity of the wave is equal to the negative slope of the wave car. Vp by Vw equal to negative slope of the wave curve. Okay. This is from the wave equation. Wave equation, if you differentiate, calculating Vp is del y del t and del y del x is the slope of the wave curve and Vw is omega by k. Then Vp by Vw, this ratio will be equal to the negative slope of the wave curve. Now, first check Vw, that is always constant. Vw is constant because wave is propagating with a constant velocity. Then we can say that if slope is negative, del y del x, if slope is negative, then Vp is actually positive because it already have a negative sign. So if del y del x, this slope is negative, then Vp will be positive. And if del y del x is positive, then Vp will be negative. Now come to the first point. D, E and F, if you draw the tangent, that is always directing a negative slope. At first option, check the first option. In the graph DEF, at D, E and F you draw tangent to the graph. The tangent is always directed producing negative slope, means obtuse angle it will cut with the x-axis. So producing negative slope, since it is producing negative slope, it will be positive actually. So all velocities are positive at D, E and F. Then again point A, B, H, A, B and again H, it produces positive slope. Positive slope means particle velocity at those points will be negative. So option B is also true. Now point C and G have zero velocity. Point C and G, the slope is horizontal. Horizontal slope means del y del x is 0. So particle velocity is 0. So that is also correct. Now point A and E have minimum velocity. That is incorrect. Because point A and E at the junction slope is not 0 because tangents are not horizontal at those points. So del y del x is not 0 and since del y del x is not 0, Vp is not 0. So only option D is incorrect. Okay, so don't infer directly from the tangent to the graph, because if you draw the tangent to the graph and claim that it is the direction of the velocity, that is not true, because the graph is not between y and t. Graph is between y and x. So you have to use this relation of the wave, progressive wave, to find the answer of velocity. Otherwise, it will give you that downward it is going, then how can it be positive? Because of that minus sign in front of del y del x, it comes. Two electric bulbs A and B are rated as 60 watt and 100 watt. If they are connected in parallel to the same source, then see P equal to V square by R. So same source means V is constant. So P proportional to 1 by R. So more power means less resistance. And less resistance means it will draw higher current. Less resistance in the parallel combination will draw higher current. So bulb B draws more current than bulb A because bulb B's resistance is less than the resistance of bulb A. Okay. Next one, 56. A wire of length L is bent in the form of a circular loop and is suspended in a region of uniform magnetic field. when a steady current I passed through the loop, the maximum torque experienced by it will be. Torque equal to tau equal to m cross b. So maximum means mb sin theta theta 90. That is 1. So torque tau maximum torque will be m into b. Okay. Now m equal to current into area, circular loop. So it will be current I into area of cross section means pi r square into b okay. Now entire loop is of length L means circumference is L. So we can write L equal to 2 pi r. So replace r. L by 2 pi. So it will be I into pi into L square by 4 pi square into b. So I pi L square by 4 pi. Circumference is given, that is L. See 57. Two particles Y and Z emitted by radioactive source at P made tracks in a cold chamber as illustrated in the figure. A magnetic field acted downward into the paper carefully Careful measured. Oh, E is vanished. Careful measurement showed that the both tracks were circular. The radius of Y track being half that of the Z track. Which one of the following statement is certainly true? See, so charged particle deflecting in magnetic field. So using this formula we can find out mv square by r equal to q dv. Now after cancelling this, if you have r will be mv by qv. Now radius is one has the radius half of the other. So from that you cannot infer whether the P is same. You cannot infer from that the charge is twice or half. Only you can say since both are deflected on the same side, they have the positive charge, both. Because B is set downward, it is deflected on that side, means they have the same charge and both have the charge of opposite side. Sorry, charge of same side, both are positive. Only this thing you can infer. You cannot say about the charge of the particle is twice or half of the other, you cannot infer that. Because if you are going to infer charge depending on the radius, then it is not completely depending only on radius. It depends on velocity of the particles, it depends on mass of the particles also. So since Q depends on this factor, then by measuring radius you cannot infer whether charge is twice or half. Okay, so only thing that you can predict is that both the particles have same charge and both the particle is positively charged. Only this thing you can see. So only option A is correct. Because Q depends not only on R, it depends on M and V also. But we don't know whether M and V are equal or different. That is nothing to be mentioned here. So you cannot infer that. The coil of a dynamo is rotating in a magnetic field. The developed induced EMF changes and the number of the magnetic lines of force also changes. Which of the following condition is correct? Lines of force minimum but induced EMF 0. Lines of force maximum but induced EMF 0. Then lines of force maximum but induced EMF is not 0. Lines of force maximum but induced EMF is also maximum. Option B is correct. Lines of force maximum but induced EMF is 0 because it is rotating. So when lines of force maximum means the angle is, what is the angle? When lines of force passing is maximum, angle with the area vector is maximum number of field lines are passing. Then angle between area and that B will be 90 degree or 0 degree. Most of the line passes. That means 0 degree. With the vector, angle is 0 degree. With the surface, angle is 90 degree. So it reaches the maximum. Then EMF will reach 0 because it is static. Again, it will, when rotate, it will change. So momentarily it will be 0. Then 59, option B is correct. That is just a formula. The least resolvable angle by a telescope using objective aperture 5 meter and light of wavelength lambda is nearly. Just use that formula 1.22 lambda by A. Resolving power equal to 1.22 lambda by A. A is the aperture and lambda is given. Just calculate.